And it doesn't seem like a lot, but it makes a difference. All right, Destructor has started. So is Nick. I'm sure that's just a delay in the streams. It'll get synced up by the wonderful Speed Gaming crew in just a couple seconds. But here we go. They're off to get to their first item of 100, the Morph Ball. This item is needed everywhere, and you can't do anything at all without it. So that is why we pick it up first. So now they're going to head right, and our objective right now is to get all the way right and get bombs. But to get bombs, we need missile. It's a long chain of events. So we'll see them in that. After they get missiles, that's typically in PB attempts the first real reset point in the run. There's a lot that can go wrong with that fight. You can do it really, really well, or it can just go okay, or you can fail it miserably. So that'll be the first spot where there'll probably be a big split between the two. There's also some RNG aspects of the fight. Looks like Nick taking a slightly different route climbing up. Just as fast, that's fine. There's a lot of things like that in this game where you can choose a different path through a single room, and there's multiple options. Sometimes even there's whole like areas of doing this group of rooms later or earlier, and they end up always being pretty close together in time. So, you know, a lot of personalization in Zero Mission 100%. That's why it's such a great category, and we should see some minor differences like that throughout the run. So Destructor tinked one of his missiles, not getting it the second time. He didn't even go for it the second time. Nick also tinked his missiles, but they're both fine. They had not the best fight. Usually you want to shoot 2 missiles into them, but the missiles have to like do damage to the eye on the same frame, because you have to shoot 3 at them. So if you shoot 2 in one eye opening, then you save a cycle, but it's pretty hard to do. And even top runners miss it, so both of them missing it is just making them even. Neither of them got the spikes though, so that's one thing that's RNG. It's an attack pattern that just takes longer. Now here they go, moving into Hive Room. This room is awful. There's all these bugs, you have to shoot the hives, and you gotta keep looping around. If you fall, then you gotta go all the way, circle around them again. They're both doing the optimal strat of luring the bugs away and then going up and taking the hives out. Oh, Nick fell. Slight time loss, but like I said, this is the hardest of the early rooms. As Destructor continues onwards towards bombs, and Nick is through the room as well. So here they go. Bombs are also very, very useful. They allow you to bomb jump, which is really good in this game. The bombs have a large hitbox and a short fuse, so you can bomb jump really, really quickly. You can do double bomb jumps, you can do diagonal, horizontal bomb jumps, and we might see after they leave this room if either of them goes and does early Brinstar. I don't think either of them will. It's very, very, very difficult, and is technically faster, but if you mess up anything, you lose all that time. So I would imagine they wouldn't do that, especially in a marathon setting. We'll see. Could be a way to, you know, spice things up, and looks like Destructor's going down, not going for it. He will collect all those items later. And Nick, like I said, probably won't be going for it either. Once he leaves the room. And has to fight all the bugs. Those bugs are also annoying. This whole area is a couple annoying things involving bugs, but looks like they're through it. And Nick is going down as well. So, both on the same route so far. A little bit of trouble with that scree. Destructor having some trouble with that bomb block. It's a really tight trick even getting out, that's also a really tight window or tight spatial area, because you have to make it so that you can get out before the block reforms and then jump out without having to fall down again. Nick is going to... He's going for it too. Nice. And he gets it, so that saved him a little bit of time, catching up a little bit over Destructor. As they are now going to get some more missiles and prepare themselves to head into Kraid. Kraid's area is... It's not super difficult. There are a couple things that you have to watch your ammo, to watch your health. Destructor, he's looking fine on both. Nick should be fine too. But you want to make sure, because there's some enemies you have to kill with missiles. There's some intentional hits you have to take. And a lot of bomb jumping you have to do because you don't have power grip yet. And it's just so much faster to come down here first, as opposed to going all the way north there and coming back, that in 100% in speedrun, just go straight to Kraid. And we do Kraid first because of the item he gives us. It is very useful. So Destructor picking up his first missile tank of Kraid as Nick enters Kraid's lair. And right now, they're going to go over and fight Acid Worm. Acid Worm is a mini-boss. He's not that difficult. If you have to take damage while you're fighting him, so that is one issue that could come up. But you do get an energy tank right before you're fighting him, so I don't see that being a problem. Destructor right now having a double bomb jump. Oh, he misses it. This one's a tough jump. And then the blocks respawn. You have that bug who's creeping up on you. The blocks that despawn really quickly. If you don't get it... Oh, and he got it. Nice. Yeah, if you don't get that first try, everything's messed up. All the cycles of all the different things are really difficult. Nick's coming up on the room right now. Like I said, without power grip, you have to do a lot of bomb jumping. And Nick gets it first try. So he's gaining a little bit. We'll see how he fares. Destructor not opting to grind for more missiles, which he has enough to finish the fight. You only need 30, but I would not feel comfortable with 33. He's a much better runner than I am, though. He's been playing the game for a lot longer. The Acid Worm takes 30 missiles to kill. Nick farming up to 35. And after the fight, you want to make sure that you have 10. Oh, and he didn't get that many drops. So we need 20 missiles to kill some enemies later. And because we need 20 missiles, and you get this missile expansion that Destructor just picked up, and then we'll get one later, you want to have 10 after the fight. And he shot a missile to kill one of the enemies, because if you have an odd number, it doesn't matter. Nick making short work of Acid Worm, and he is doing much better on his missile drops, so Destructor's going to have to farm somewhere. So like I said, he optimally would be at 15 right now, but he's at 11. He would be at 12 if he hadn't shot one of the enemies, but shooting the crab enemy is faster, because you otherwise would have to wait for him to move or take damage. And if you shoot him with a missile and you're at an odd number, it puts you at an even number, so either way you'd need the same number of drops. So we see him and he grinds up and he's at 20. Perfect. Nick also ended the fight with 11, an odd number, and he was able to use 1 to take out one of the crabs. And he is at perfect 20. Destructor having another double bomb jump. Perfect. You can do a single bomb jump there, a single diagonal, and with the other one, but they're much harder because it's if you do a double, then it's a single double bomb jump, which sounds ridiculous, but it's just 3 total bombs too. That makes it even more ridiculous. Destructor coming up on the giant side hoppers. These enemies take 10 missiles to kill, and there are 2 of them, which is why we need 20 missiles. And then you get some more afterwards. This game has a ton of missiles, so once they leave Kraid's area, Kraid's lair, I guess. I never like calling it just Kraid, because, that's the name of the boss, but, whatever. they will have plenty of missiles for pretty much the rest of the game. Because this game gives you way too many missiles. And they'll have to worry about other ammo, like power bombs, but we'll get to that much later. Destructor in the most boring room in the game. He's going for the fast setup, and he gets it. That's a jump, bomb, jump, where you jump in the air, morph, and lay a bomb, fall, jump, morph, land on the bomb. It saves the use of one bomb, but it's kind of tight. But he pulls off no problem. He's a seasoned veteran of jump bomb jumps. Whereas Nick, and he gets it too. He rode the elevator part of the way, but well, what's he doing? Did he fall? I think he hit A accidentally. Sometimes when you're nervous and you squeeze the controller or something, you have an accidental input. But that's just how it is. He got the missile. He's fine. It's just a very small time loss. Destructor is coming up. He's getting close to Kraid. The room he's entering right now is not this one. The save room. It's after this one, and then he falls, and he's going to hit a block. And he gets it. That is a 4-frame trick, I believe, to shoot the block while you're still high enough to move onto it and not, hit it too late, but still hit it. But he gets it. He's fine. He's fighting Kraid. And, oh, so close. 1 missile away from the 2-cycle. 2 cycles on Kraid is very difficult. Hitting B fast enough to do those double missiles is hard on its own. But to do it in the pattern so that you hit it as soon as the timer ends and time your jumps while you're mashing B at what I think is a kind of weird speed. Nick got the shot as well, and will be coming up on Kraid. I think he'll do the double missile strat. Like I said, it can be difficult. There we go. We see him. You have to shoot once on your way up and another shot on your way down. Doesn't quite get a 2-cycle, which would be optimal, but he only had 1 missile left, and Kraid is down. So Destructor is now going to be making his way out of Kraid's lair. There's one more item to pick up, but it's just an expansion. Right in this room. There's a sub-pixel perfect shot, and he doesn't get it. No one ever gets it, pretty much. And Nick getting speed booster. He will be making his way, retracing those steps. So after this, we won't be seeing Kraid's lair for quite a while. We don't come back here until like the very end of the game. So, and there's one item we need to get that needs speed booster and high jump and gravity suit and all that stuff. And unfortunately, because of that, we have to come back. If we didn't, we could get all the items now. But, it is what it is. We will be back later. And so now Nick is heading back. He gets the missile just fine. And they're heading back to Brinstar. They're going to pick up a few items and then make their way to Norfair. Haven't even been to Norfair yet in the whole run. Usually the game expects you to have gone a little sooner. But we can skip all that because we are fast. We're speedrunners. And we're optimal. Nick getting to see the cutscene that is exclusive to 100%, not in any percent, because Ridley's already dead by the time you would be there. He re-enters Brinstar. And there's a spark you can do where Destructor's at. Oh, he doesn't get it. It's a very, very tight window. I don't remember the name of that spark. All the different sparks have different names. I remember a couple of them. There's Ice Cream Spark, there's Money Spark, I think there's Ming Li Spark, but I do not know the name of that one. It's very difficult. You have to keep that spark all through the room, which means you can't get hit, and you have to keep shine sparking into slopes over and over again to preserve your boost. But that's fine. It's a very small time save, regardless. Nick is going to be coming up on that soon. We'll see if he attempts it. It's hard to tell because there's no run button, there's no nothing. He gets the spark. Like I said, you have to keep recharging it. So it's not over yet. He's got it. There he goes. Nice. So it helps you go through the second half of that room just a little faster. Which, props to him, that is very difficult. Destructor already passed through that small section of Norfair and is in Criteria. Here we have to go to pick up the most arbitrarily required item in the game, the Power Grip. Why is Power Grip necessary? Because they wanted to make it so that this first unknown item was necessary. Why is this first unknown item necessary? Because they wanted to make it so that all the unknown items are necessary for the end of the game. And how do they stop you? Vines. If you go right as soon as you enter Norfair, you can make it through that room with bomb jumps and skill, but there are vines that buggos have to eat, and there are no buggos in that room. So you cannot progress without Power Grip, and it just disappears once you have Power Grip. Very arbitrary, kind of weird, but it's the rules of the game. There are a lot of really cool shortcuts, and there's not a lot of item requirements for various areas and multiple paths through different areas. So it is nice that they have that, but I don't know, some of the arbitrary item requirements are a little strange. Otherwise, low percent would be very low percent. But regardless, Destructor picking up Power Grip. It's also nice that it is required, just because it's a quality of life item. You do not want to have to bomb jump all over the place to get up to every little ledge. It's so much easier to just grab the ledge, and it makes a lot of tricks easier. There's some setups involving it, so it's pretty nice. And Destructor, he used a double bomb jump to get out of that room that Power Grip was in. That is the optimal strategy. You can single bomb jump, but you barely make it past the platforms, and if you're going to single bomb jump, it's probably better to just wall jump up the left wall, and then you have to wait for the platforms to rise anyways. So, I mean, great work, and Nick getting his own Power Grip. He will be able to pull himself up and go to all the places that are past the vines. And he's getting his double infinite power, why am I saying power? Bomb jump. Double infinite bomb jump. It's too many words. And Destructor is getting his speed boost and boosting through this room. He's going to get his missiles, and then we'll see. There's another route deviation coming up right here. It looks like Destructor's going up. This is what I would say is the regular route for Norfair. To go this way and to go through this room as soon as you get Power Grip and pick up Ice Beam. This is the earliest you can pick up Ice Beam after entering Norfair. And then you just continue on, loop around, and go to that first heated room. I'm not sure what Nick's route is. He could try doing New Fair, which is a newer way to do Norfair, where you don't get Ice Beam, you just go down. And it looks like he did a diagonal for extra swag points instead of just going straight up. Props to him. Swag is always appreciated. And he backed up a little, so it looks like, yes, he's going straight down. So he is not going up there. He is going to just move on with his life. Forget about Ice Beam. Forget about the few missiles that are up there. He doesn't need it. He is just going to move on and wait until after he gets high jump to then go back there and pick up those items. Quite a while after he gets high jump, because there's a whole long loop you make after doing that. So it's going to look like he's ahead, because Destructor is now entering the room he just went through, and they're going to high five right here. Nice. And Nick is just going to keep going down, because, oh no, he charged the spark. That is unfortunate. You're not supposed to charge that spark there. You have to break blocks that are on the floor, and you cannot shine spark downwards. So there he goes. He's going down and into the next room. He's going to get high jump boots, probably heal. Maybe. He doesn't have to heal, but it is a lot safer to heal. I believe he still has to heal once. And he will not. So now he's got to go through the gauntlet of heated rooms. And Destructor is right behind him, just about to pick up his own high jump boots and make his way through the gauntlet. And Destructor will have to heal here, I believe. There's no avoiding it, which is just because he went through one heated room already and lost a ton of health. He did not heal. Okay. Guess I'm wrong. He is then definitely going to heal at Screw Attack. Nick, I guess, will not. That's... I don't know. He's a very good runner, and he's already through the heated room, so, props to him. Nick going for refill glitch and not getting it is unfortunate, but he still refilled, because it's a lot safer to do that. And Destructor, I believe, needs to. I don't know the exact numbers. Well, now probably. It definitely can't get through. And he gets the refill glitch. He is healing while that Screw Attack text is on screen, which speeds up the process. You're doing two things at once that take an arbitrary amount of time. That speeds it up a little bit. Because I was going to say there's the 45 health room, the room that always deals 45 health, and you cannot make it through that room unless you have 45 health. And there's some other heated rooms besides that one, so both of them healed up anyways. That is one of the small time saves of New Fair, though. If you are, fast and play well, you can skip a heal over doing the traditional Norfair route, but Destructors just did really well, and Nick played it a little safe, so they ended up taking the exact same heals. Another high five from the two runners. They are pretty close to each other right now. Nick is spatially a little bit ahead of Destructor. He's in, 2 rooms away from him, but again, Nick did skip getting Ice Beam and some other items, and he will have to get that on his way back. Alright, so now, Wave Beam. Another nice quality of life item. Not necessarily right now, but much, much later in the game when they're fighting space pirates, it's just a really nice thing to have. It makes some rooms here easier too. And it makes some of the puzzle rooms in Ridley human doable, let's say. And there he goes, just through the 45 health room into the Imago spawn cocoon guys, slugs, larvae. I don't know what they would be called. Destructor in the 45 health room, taking 45 health worth of damage. And looks like Nick knows the strats to go through that room quickly. He does need to now do store that spark, destroy the missile block, and spark up, because now he's going to do the loop in this upper right part of Norfair that Destructor did earlier, get his Ice Beam, and a couple other things. It is cool, though, to see Wave Beam on its own without Ice Beam, because as soon as you get Ice Beam, all your beams are changed to be like a light blue color. So you never really see, especially Plasma Beam. I don't know if there's a way outside of like Randomizer to see its color. I believe it's green. Regardless, Destructor doing really well fighting Imago Cocoon. That is, I would say, the toughest mini boss in the game. Kraid's the toughest boss. You just have to be pretty precise. It's the same fight every time, as long as you do the same inputs every time. But any mistake kind of snowballs and can be pretty tricky. So now Nick is going through the first heated room, as I call it. I don't know what other people would call it. It's not the first anymore, because he did New Fair and he's gone through some heated rooms already. But the thought is there. And it's much easier with all that health and more missiles and Screw Attack and all the other amenities. And he can go down really quickly because he has Screw Attack. whereas Destructor had to spark down earlier. Speaking of Destructor, he is now about to fight his final big shrimp bug man, the Imago. So he destroyed the cocoon, but the Imago itself hatched, and he gets his prize, super missiles. Super missiles are a really cool item. You don't need them at all to beat the game. They do help a lot in beating the game, and you can get them at multiple points that aren't what the game intends to be the first one. Nick taking an alternative strategy in fighting the cocoon. Like I said, he can be very tough. Especially those inner roots or whatever. They can be tough to get to. They can be tough to reach, and it can be tough to shoot 2 missiles at them, to double missile them. Sometimes you just have to single missile, and each root, vein, whatever, takes 3 missiles. So Nick's doing fine. Destructor doing a new setup and clipping through the floor. What happened there? Well, I'll tell you. He froze 2 enemies. He was standing on top of both. They're at the same level. And then he lays a bomb and destroys them. And because he's standing on a frozen enemy, then the game says, okay, well, you were standing on a frozen enemy, but now that enemy's gone. So where should we put you? Oh, there's another frozen enemy here. We'll put you on that enemy. But that enemy's gone, so we'll put you on the other frozen enemy. And then something like that. And then it puts you at where the enemies spawn, which is a pipe that's in the ground. And then you're through the floor. So, really cool glitch. Pretty easy. There's an easier setup than what Destructor did. I'm not super familiar with how that one works, but I'm sure it's just you morph. And that's pretty much it. Nick going for the... Nice. The spark there. That one's a really tight window. Both he and Destructor got that. It can be tough. And if you mess it up, like I said, there's such a short window. The spot where you have to recharge it is kind of cramped, and you have to get a jump from that spot. It can be annoying. As Destructor continues on through his puzzle rooms, Nick is coming up on that ice clip through the floor, which will be followed by the first puzzle room. And it looks like he's taking the regular setup. Oh no, he got stuck in the floor. So because you only clip 1 block into the floor, I wonder what the enemies aren't. There they go. This trick, it doesn't make a lot of sense to people like me. There's a lot that goes into it. I'm sure someone like Dragon Fangs or a lot of other people would know much more about it, but there's something else with it. Like, you have to collect all the drops in the room to avoid having problems. It's, and it's one of those things where if you don't get it first try, it just snowballs. But luckily, he's through the floor. He's doing fine on his first puzzle room. Destructor, on the other hand, also doing fine. I don't know what I said on the other hand. No trouble with some missiles and a couple other items as he makes his way towards the dreaded Ridley. Who Ridley is arguably the easiest boss in the game. Grade's pretty hard because you're underpowered in 100%. Ridley, even in any percent, he's a joke. Oh no, Destructor fell. That is not the end of the world. He can still spark back up. But it's not something you want to see. You do have kind of a tight window where you jump after going through the door. You can do a wall jump, but if you accidentally get the small window for the jump, then you just go over it and it's confusing and you gotta land on the thing. A lot goes on. But Destructor made do. And that is interesting. He accidentally went on the left ledge, which is lower, but unmorphed and pulled himself up. I will have to do that in my runs, because I have a very hard time jumping off the first block. Pretty tricky. I did not know you could do that. Usually you would want to jump off the very first ledge and make your way up, but Destructor showing a new strat. And now he is almost to Ridley. Just got a few more items. Nick going for the speed jump. This, and first try, nice. I believe both runners got that first try. That can be pretty difficult. It's a 4-frame window. There is no faster way to do it. You have to make the jump in those 4 frames. You can do it without wave beam, but it is not humanly possible to do without wave beam. I don't believe, because you have to destroy all those blocks that are in your way, and one of them is a missile block, so you can't just mash shoot. You have to time your missiles. As we hear the lovely screams of Ridley dying to Destructor. Oh no, drops! He didn't get a single super missile. That is unfortunate. He's going to have to farm Speedway, which is coming up, that he had to go to earlier to regain the spark to go back up. So right here, he's going to turn around. One super missile. I'd be pretty upset right now. Though that is so unlucky. Usually you want, you know, like 3 or 4 maybe drops, because they're not gonna, you know, get a full refill, you know, before going to Torian, where you fight the Metroids and Mother Brain. So that is very unfortunate. He's just gonna have to farm the owls, which are these one-eyed enemies coming up here. Alright, he got 2 more. Better than nothing. Those owls have a 75% chance to drop super missiles, so those are usually the go-to for picking up some. But 6 is still a little low, but it's not impossibly low. So he's going to make his way up and clean up Brinstar as soon as he leaves Norfair. Whereas Nick gets his 3rd and final unknown item, and his energy tank, his hidden secret energy tank, and we'll go fight Ridley. So we'll see that. And again, Ridley, pretty easy. Just, you have so many super missiles, and it takes so few to take him down. You can just step inside of him and mash missiles, and he goes down. Easy peasy. Destructor heading into Brinstar. Oh, not moving. I wonder what's going on. He must have, like, set down his controller or something, or... Oh, well, he's back. That's good. I don't know what happened. I'm sure something just came up, like, in real life. Occupied his attention for a couple seconds. There's Nick. Oh, look at that. 4 super drops. That's the kind of luck you want to see. And you got 1 from Ridley. So that's pretty nice. He's set. Destructor going for the ball spark. He goes for a slightly riskier but faster setup, where he picks up this missile tank now. Oh no! He didn't. Oh, and we see the missiles of anguish. Oh no, Destructor. Oh. What happened there was just a problem with kind of Zero Mission as a whole. Some of the tricks, and this applies to other Metro games as well, require directional input, and you have to be very specific with your directional input. So when you're jumping, if you just jump, you do a standing jump. If you're holding left or right before you jump, you do a spinning jump. When you have Shine Spark charge, if you do a spinning jump, you do a jump. If you do a standing jump, however, it activates the Shine Spark. So to make things even more confusing, if you are morphed as a morph ball and have high jump, so you can do a spring jump, then if you're not hitting any buttons, you'll do a jump. But if you're holding left or right before you jump, then you'll do a regular jump, because your morph ball doesn't look any different, but it still doesn't give you the Shine Spark. And I guess he was underneath the platform, and he bonked his head. You do have to have enough room to jump also to do a Shine Spark. And he rolled out to the right of it and wasn't able to make it. The Nick coming up. Hopefully he avoids the same fate. So he gets the first part. And oh, no, he has to go for the spark. He is going to get that missile on his way back, which is the smart play. That room can be difficult. It can cause a lot of panic. Definitely, easier to just take the easy way out of it and just pick him up on your second trip. Destructor, cleaning up Upper Brinstar. He has pretty much everything. He has one missile left to acquire. And then also Long Beam, which we don't get because it's not super useful. Long Beam is a beam that lengthens your beam. And when you get other upgrades, those also lengthen your beam a little bit. Not a whole lot, but each upgrade makes it slightly longer. And most things you can shoot with missiles. Missiles reach the whole screen. The long beam isn't really necessary, but we still pick it up anyways, because this is 100%. One item that we do not pick up is Various Suit, which Nick is in the room right before Various Suit, but he will not be picking it up. We go right up to it and then say bye, never come back. I believe Various Suit disappears once you have Gravity Suit. Like even if you skip it, the game just gives you Various Suit because Gravity Suit has all the same effects Various Suit has and more. You can't turn items on and off in this game like you could in Super Metroid. So if you skip Various Suit, there's to make it easier, they just, we'll give it to you. And if you didn't pick up the item, it's gone. So that's why we skip it. And it still counts as 100%. Destructor, heading into Torian, the lair of Mother Brain, the third major boss of the game. And it is also the home of the Metroids. So this is the part that you want to have those super missiles for. And he's doing fine on ammo. But we're going to see, I would assume, he's not going to let his super missile count go below 4. 4 is the magic number to make Mother Brain's fight not ridiculously long. Because we will see that once either runner gets there. Metroids drop 2 items when they are defeated. They can be health, it could be a missile, it could be a super missile. If it's a missile, every missile drop gives you 2 more missiles. Every super missile drop gives you 2 super missiles. It takes 5 regular missiles to kill a Metroid, but 1 super missile, because 1 super missile does 5 times as much damage as a one super missile is 5 times a regular missile. I lost my train of thought because Destructor accidentally whiffed super, but he's doing fine. Got those 2 drops. Nice. So by having 10, he has 4 for Mother Brain herself, 4 for the glass, and then 2 on the Zebbatite doors. These things, these fleshy wall, whatever. I don't know if they're fleshy. I always thought they were. So yeah, he's gonna be able to go through Mother Brain's room much more quickly. So here he goes. You shoot 4 missiles and a super, because once you've done that much, 1 super's worth of damage, she closes her eye. So you want to get right up to there and then shoot a super to do 9 missiles worth of damage, and then build up a spark and escape. Nick, now in Torian, going through the same rooms, looks like he's doing an interesting kind of grouping strat there, where he didn't kill the Metroid immediately. Which, yeah, more power to him. Looks like he whiffed a super, which is unfortunate, but wow, another double. Both these runners are having really good luck in Torian with their super drops. Destructor had I've never had 10 super missiles going into Mother Brain. That's kind of ridiculous, but you know, he used them optimally, and that was a really great fight, and he is now escaping. 40 minutes in, which pretty good time. Oh, and it looks like Nick used up quite a few. He tinked his last super. That is unfortunate. Oh no, he doesn't have any super missiles. Oh, that's unfortunate. He had so many just a second ago. What is he doing? Because I mean, we have so many missiles at this point. Running out's not the issue. The issue is Mother Brain takes, quick, someone do some math. What's 9 times 3, 27 plus 8, 35. 35 missiles, so that's 7 rounds instead of 4, which is significantly faster. So that's 3, that's 4, that's 5, that's 6, and that's the last round, 7. All right. Well, I mean, I would think it'd be faster to use those on, well, it's definitely faster to use those on Metroids, but yeah, I mean, you know, you do you. You handled that well. I would have panicked. Having trouble with the elevator. That's, yeah. That elevators are kind of annoying if you ride on them. But, yeah, I don't know. That was really interesting. Those are the things you see when you watch these races. People go for some things that you might not normally in a speed run yourself, and you might not see from other people or on most runs. Meanwhile, Nick escaping with 41:52. So he's a minute 52 currently behind Destructor, which again, that is not a terribly large gap. Something horrible can always happen to either player, unfortunately. But that's the way the game is. It's, for the most part, though, very consistent. And, ooh, looks like Destructor is given us a special treat. Tripwire skip. Let's see. And there the pirates kill each other. So that is a newer trick found by world record holder in every single category, I believe, pretty much for the most part. See Scotty W. That you make the pirates kill each other, and it immediately turns off the alarm, and it's slightly more complicated or whatever, and he got it. And you skip the tripwire, so you save time in the first room, even though you lose time in the second room, and it's complicated. It ends up being slightly faster by, like, I don't know, half a second or something. But very, very well executed on his part as Nick begins his suitless section. So suitless is the most consistent part of the game. Oh, Destructor pulling out all the stops. That was lightning fast searchlights. He went through the searchlights and just ducked under the last one. The hitboxes are weird, and they did not find him, which is really cool, because usually it's a lot harder. You have to wait much longer for them. So Destructor playing very well in suitless. Like I was saying, this section of the game is absolutely the most consistent. It's all the jumps are the same. You have less movement options as Zero Suit Samus. Therefore, you have less chances to do the wrong movement. It's the way I kind of see it. Other people are different. And also the pirates. Only enemy here are space pirates. Except for, no, the only enemy you've seen suitless are space pirates. And it looks like Nick is going for it as well. Hold the phone. This is incredible. A double whammy. Nice. Both getting it. These are two really good runners. And they definitely know all the best tricks. Like I was saying, pirates, they don't drop anything. You can't kill them anyways. And they do not have random movement like other enemies in the game. Every enemy has the same place it spawns, but will always either move left or right when you enter a room. It's 50-50 chance, it's RNG. Pirates are not that way. Their every action is based off of your movement. So if you move the same way every time, the pirates will move the same way every time. Therefore, you can plan around them, making this part, like I said, super consistent. And these guys have been playing for a while. Nick going for a slower searchlights, but a much safer one. I don't blame him for that, especially in a race like this where there's nerves and things. But yeah, this whole suitless area. It's unfortunate that you have to do this in literally every run of the game because it's always the same in every run, in any percent and 100%. Hard mode I think is a little different. There's probably more pirates, I would assume. I've run hard mode. I've never ran it, and I've only played it casually once. But I know there's more enemies, and you take double damage. So not that matters here. Any pirate that touches you will kill you if you don't heal. That's why in a race, our runners heal because they're not going to risk that. But Destructor didn't even need it because he's still at full health, which props to him. Nick took one hit, which, that's completely reasonable. It is a really consistent area, but that doesn't make it easy. And sometimes you go for tricks that get you hit. I still get hit and heal. There's a couple tricky spots where you're more likely to. There's one of those eyes that hits me in one of the rooms that's coming up, and I always remember it because I always end up with like 83 as a number of health remaining. Looks like they both got Sam Strat to make the alarm turn off. Much faster instead of having to, not much faster, but you don't have to duck in the save room. Much less stressful on your auditory sensors, your ears, because you don't have to listen to the bum of the alarms going off. And that's always nice to hear the lovely, sneaky Metroid music. Destructor fighting Charlie, the Chozo ghost guy, and he hits himself. Oh no, why do you do that? It's because for reasons that are way above my pay grade. Shooting yourself makes the fight likely to be faster. I don't know. I don't know why, but it makes him vulnerable sooner, because otherwise that fight is all RNG. And that was very good Charlie from Destructor. And he gets all of his items back, and Varia. So he gets all of his items and more. And he gets Plasma, Gravity, and Space Jump. Items that were unknown items before, but now we have. And we get into the arbitrary part of the run, where some items we had to skip before because we didn't have pretty much just Gravity Suit. There's like a very small number of items that you need Gravity Suit for. You also need Power Bombs, and you need to go get Power Bombs now. So, name of the game, beeline straight towards Power Bombs and pick up a few things along the way. And we will be seeing that from Destructor. This Spark it's just stressful. It's just stressful. It's pretty safe. It's pretty consistent. Oh, and he messed it up. There's nothing to feel bad about that. You have a small window to hit down, and I always say this unironically: hitting down is the hardest trick in the game. It just is. You can't hit, like be holding left and then hit diagonal down left and then down. That doesn't work. That doesn't count. It has to be left and then down. And it can be very annoying. That's the only way to charge your Shine Spark. But it's just the way it is. Nick fighting Charlie. Looks like a pretty fast Charlie so far. And he's also using the damage abuse strategy to make Charlie, for whatever reason, vulnerable faster. And not bad. That third one looked like it was taking a while. Frantically turning left and right. It looks like he got it. He got the glitch. Watch his shots. So you're not supposed to move, but if you turn around at the right time, you can move during that little sequence. And after he gets all these items, his shots that were on the screen will then look a little different. We'll see that as soon as the text for Space Jump passes by, because now he's a different beam. Woo! There they go. I don't know what that sprite is, but it's just a different sprite because now you have a different suit and all your beams are different. It's kind of interesting. A cool graphical glitch. Doesn't save or lose any time. And he's going to head to the same boost Destructor did. Well, Destructor is, like I said, beelining it for the power bombs. And that is an interesting way to go through that room. I'm sure that's faster because he's landing instead of just space jumping across the top. That it is one of my least favorite rooms because it's unfortunately a room where I'm at an express disadvantage playing on Wii U because it lags when you're holding a charge and you haven't killed any of the enemies. So it's one advantage GBA and emulator have over Wii U, but it's very small. Nick getting that spark, the Destructor unfortunately missed. He got it first try. He got the refill for it, the refill of the crouch for the spark, and gets his supers. So these rooms that they're going through right now, they will go through these many more times. And this, like I said, it's the kind of arbitrary part of the game. Get power bombs. Get this specific power bomb pack because you're not allowed to get any of the other ones. Super missiles you can get out of order. You can get, super missile packs that aren't the ones that you get for fighting Imago. But for whatever reason, you can't get power bombs early. You have to wait until you can get to this specific first power bomb pack. There is one other power bomb pack you can get, but you die before you can save, so you don't get to keep it. And we'll be seeing a setup from Destructor right now to clip through that yellow door. There's a couple different setups, and he's through. So what that does is it makes it so you can get through the door without having to lay a power bomb, and you save a power bomb because then you lay a power bomb on the other side, which destroys the door and it just becomes a blue door, and you destroy the power bomb blocks in the room. So you have one more power bomb than you would if you didn't do door clip, which means you can do a different route as a result, and it's a much more consistent route. Whereas the alternative, you either have to hope you get a power bomb drop or do a long chain of shine sparks with recharges that is just awful. So very glad he got it. It's a pretty consistent trick. There are slower but more consistent setups for it. I do a pause buff. It is like an old method that no one else does anymore, but if you do that, it's free every time. And he now has the power bombs. So now the name of the game is use the power bombs to get more power bombs, and then manage your power bombs to get more power bombs. So again, it feels very contrived and arbitrary, but it's just the way it is. There's a lot of cool stuff in this game. A lot of cool alternate routes to do things faster. And super missiles, they did so well. You don't need them to beat the game. You don't need to get the first ones to beat the game to have them at all. But power bombs, just an unfortunate factor in it. But it does add a lot of play time to the game and lets you revisit some areas with being super powered up. And you can go through them much faster, having screw attack, space jump, speed boost, all the beams. Pretty great. So Nick getting his power bombs. It's he's doing, I think, the more regular setup where you just grab the ledge. Destructor did not grab the ledge immediately. He jumped onto it and fell off and grabbed it. which I'm sure is just like some kind of small time save. There's a lot of those in this run. The whole game is just full of very, very small time saves, and they really add up over the course of the run. It's amazing how much of a difference just making your jumps shorter makes. But yeah, we'll see. There's on the same route. We had the New Fair, Norfair route divergence earlier, but that doesn't affect us anymore. And Nick is going to head down and clean up the lower part of the ship, whereas Destructor just finished cleaning that part of the ship. And he is going to pick up some items and go towards Glass Tube. Glass Tube is another trick, like Door Clip, that it involves a route deviation. If you get it, and you unfortunately only have one chance. Not like, oh, you have to reset the room, you lay a power bomb, you run across it, and then that tube is gone. There is absolutely no way to bring that tube back. It is just gone. And Destructor getting that energy tank just fine. If the tube is gone, you can't run across it, meaning you can't get a speed boost, meaning you have to go through that area from below. And so you would just do a completely different route to make that worth it. But luckily, he's a seasoned veteran. He knows this game really well. He's been playing it for a long time, and he gets Glass Tube like it's no big deal. And he's going to be able to do the regular route. Whereas Nick, remembering to not pick up the map, is now going to clean up this section of the ship. Get some more power bombs, which will definitely come in handy for the sole purpose of picking up more power bombs. And then he will very soon, like a minute or two, attempt the very same trick, and we'll see how he does. So Destructor in this room, the Destructor's in. You would normally have to, not normally, if you miss Glass Tube, you would have to, not Glass Tube, Door Clip. If you miss Door Clip, you have to save your boost and bring it in this room, because you can't destroy that block there with a power bomb. You're not allowed to. And you gotta do a long chain and then a ball spark, and it's just a mess. Much, much easier to do it this way, where you have much more flexibility. And Nick done cleaning up the lower part of the ship. He's going to head over to Glass Tube, and we'll see how he does. So power bombs, they're like I've been saying, they're kind of contrived and not super useful. You can beat the game without power bombs, so they don't feel super necessary. They feel all arbitrary, but you do have to really manage your ammo, and these routes are tried and true routes that manage power bombs as well as possible, because you need power bombs to get more power bombs, and that is just the continuous cycle. And it looks like Nick got the Glass Tube, gets his energy tank, feeling good. But yeah, power bombs, you need power bombs to get more power bombs, and that's pretty much it. Each power bomb expansion only gives you 2, so if getting a single power bomb tank requires 2 power bombs, then you're not really gaining anything, and we're not going to be healing and refilling all of our ammo and health after this point. So you really have to, watch your power bombs. Power bomb drops are pretty rare. There's a couple enemies that have slightly higher chances of dropping them, but most are next to none, which is really unfortunate. But yeah, that is how it is, and it really defines this end part of the route, which is still fun to play regardless. So Destructor cleaning up, Torian doing really well, as Nick approaches the same spot, gets his missile, reminiscent of the part in Super Metroid, where you do ocean fly. I always kind of like the ties they had between this game and Super Metroid. And he's now going to pick up his power bomb tank that is in the original ship landing site room. That was very close. Oh, he didn't. Oh, no. I think he has enough room. I think he has barely enough room. No, he does not. Oh, no. You have to destroy those blocks to have enough room to get a speed boost, because you need a speed boost in that room, and then you need a speed boost leaving that room. That is unfortunate. And you need to leave that room using a speed boost, so you need it anyways. So he's got to go back. Destructor. Wow, what a madman. Trying to get the standing spark there. Was unable to get it. That is, you have to mash A really fast to do that, because you have to hit A while in the air. And Samus is 2 tiles tall, and you're in a space that is 2 tiles tall. So you have virtually no space to jump. So to be able to hit A while still in the air to initiate that shine spark is very difficult. The way you're supposed to do it is do a ball spark upwards. But Destructor going for the swag. Was unable to get it, but just had to go around. Not a big deal. 2 button presses. Yeah, I guess, but I don't know if everybody has 2 buttons mapped to jump. 15 taps per second between the 2. That is ridiculous, but props to him for going for it, you know? That's one of the nice things about these races. Some people, you know, aren't afraid to try new things or more difficult things for the swag, to please the audience, please the viewers. So, I commend him for going for it. And doesn't lose that much time anyways, either. Meanwhile, noxiousnick doing Torian just fine. That last space boost can be tricky, especially for newer players. You have to aim way higher than what you feel like you should on that last part, but perfectly fine. Gets the items and he's going. It looks like his layout is a little too large, but hopefully this shouldn't go anywhere near 2 hours. So we'll just remember that there's a 1 there on his timer. And we can see Destructors as well. So Destructor, he does some more advanced strats to these rooms. You can just do a Shine Spark out of this one, but he does a Space Boost. Space Boost is where you have your Shine Spark. See, somehow he lost it. I don't know, there's some weird collision with those blocks. Speed Boost is where you're running and you're red and glowing and going really fast. And then Space Boost is space jumping while maintaining that speed. And he's going to space jump back across this room. This is very slightly faster. Not by a whole lot. But it saves a little bit of time. You have to mash A really fast. Nick taking the regular ball spark back up, like most people would, but ends up saving time doing that. The ball spark actually has a slightly longer startup animation than the standing spark, which is why it's usually preferable, if you can, to standing spark, but that's a situation where it's basically not at all worth it, because it'll take you so many attempts to do. Destructor having to pick up a missile tank. That missile tank right there is one that Nick already has. Completely forgot about that. So that is another, like, couple second route deviation that Nick had over Destructor. But at this point, they should be on the same route, because that was just new fare. That I think that was only like major route difference between the two. There's a lot of different routes people can take, and like I said, a lot of them are very similar in timing in the end, which is really cool. A lot of personal preference. Nick getting this powerbomb tank. This one is unique because, like I was saying earlier, it's the early powerbomb tank. The only powerbomb tank you can get before the intended first one. Only problem is you die before you can leave the room, and you lose it. But there's, I don't think, any real leads on getting any other powerbomb tank early, which is very, very unfortunate. But it's gonna pick that up and clean up the rest of Norfair. And Destructor doing a little safety check No harm in that. Making sure he is on pace to have all the items, because he should have full cleared um, every area except Criteria and Chozodia. And he's going to get the last missile tank of Criteria right here. So now he's done with Criteria, and all that's left is Chozodia. And there's quite a few items in there. Quite a few power bombs and Super Missiles Destructor wasting all of his missiles. Oh no, what if he doesn't have enough? He only has 225 left. That is, those who don't know, way more than a lot. That pirate that just hit him, very mean pirate. He always knocks you back in the previous room. Nick went for the reverse space boost in that room. Same as Destructor. Again, slightly faster, but if you drop any of your A inputs, then you gotta like rough it through the room. And that's not something that's a whole lot of fun and is not faster, but gets it no problem. And he will get to skip out on that one missile tank, so he'll save a slight amount of time there and make his way back up. He got a power bomb drop, but like I said, those are so rare, and there's no real need to go back for them, but it is unfortunate to see that happen. He only has one more missile tank to get in Norfair, and then one in Criteria. Back to Destructor. He is on his way to get most out of the way power bombs. It's a pair of power bombs, power bomb tank, one single tank. That is out of the way. They're in fact the most out of the way power bombs in the entire game. That's why we call them that. You have to go so far, there's nothing else near here. It's a long stretch of not getting any items except for these power bombs. Then you get them, and then you just gotta go straight back. Again, another part involving power bombs that feels kind of arbitrary, kind of contrived. But it's the way the game is. There's a lot of interesting movement. You don't go through these rooms with the full suit. Well, you do go through these ones. But the ones leading up to it, you don't have a reason to go through with full suit otherwise. Picking up that super missile tank. Huh. That is interesting. I did not catch that. Usually you would have picked that up the first time through. I have no idea why it would be faster to do it later. I don't know. I don't think it matters. Huh. Oh well. An interesting routing decision. And he is still just wasting all those missiles. Well, maybe we shouldn't call it a waste. Maybe he's, putting them to good use. He's letting us see all the wonderful missiles that have been collected throughout this run. He does have all of them at the current moment. He's about to collect his final power bomb expansion, and did not chase the missile. Oh, he did. He did shoot a missile up, and you catch up with it. Really cool to see that Samus can outrun a missile or outspark a missile. But you get a lot of missiles in this game. You don't need them. So at least he's using them rather than just letting them sit in the arsenal, which is nice. And Nick is on his way on his own to get his own out-of-the-way power bombs. And he only has one power bomb tank. Not Metroid. Space Pirates do not drop anything, so he can't kill the enemies in the room, which isn't a big deal. But if you have an extra, there's a couple places like that where you can use one to save yourself a little bit of time. Oh no, he grabbed the ledge. That messes up the cycle slightly. At least it's not suitless where it kind of matters. Just kind of rolling through that room. If you go quickly, you can make that pirate jump. I don't know why. You have to do it. It's weird. It's cycle based, or not cycle, but it's timing. Pirates reacting to you. No one really understands it, I would assume, except for probably Dragon Fangs, because he knows everything about this game. But the runners are pretty much wrapping up. Destructor has every single missile in the game, every single super missile, every single power bomb, every single major upgrade. He's just making an energy tank, and he's going to get that right before Ridley. And we don't even use a power bomb to get to Ridley. We just blow open that power bomb block for our way back. But here we go, the final real challenge of the game. Not final, real, but this spot right here. He has to space jump very lightly and not touch any of the wires. He gets it like a pro. No big deal. Very cool. You can go back around and get a shine spark across that, but he chose not to because it is faster to not do that. It is riskier. It's a little more difficult, but you know, like I said, he's a pro, pretty good. Nick getting his last powerbomb tank and chasing the missile upwards, and he's also showing us his large arsenal of ammunition, wasting a few of his missiles. And he's gonna head up and make his way. He just he's full as well. He just needs the last energy tank. Destructor makes short work of Mecha Ridley. Mecha Ridley takes 17 super missiles to kill. When you have 100%. If you have less than 100%, he only takes 6. I don't know why. If you have 99% of items, you will die in 6 missiles, and then you'll think, oh no, something. And that is the worst feeling you can have from playing this game. Doing a 100% run, getting more than an hour into it, and then killing Mecha Ridley really quickly, and having to escape with the shame of not having 100%. But luckily, these guys are good, and they have tons of practice, and they have all of the items. So that is not a problem. I haven't seen Nick miss any. I would be surprised if he had. Destructor going for a somewhat precise setup. It's not super precise to get the escape spark, which is actually the final trick in the game. It's not refilling for it, and there he goes. You can ball spark through that entire room, save some time. It's pretty cool. As long as you get it, yeah, it's pretty easy. Easier than traversing the room. Gotta kill the last 2 black pirates, which he did very quickly. And he's done with a time of 1:12:42. So GG to Destructor. To turn over to Nick, who was making his way through. Oh, he touched the wire. That is unfortunate. You will have to reset the room. And he does, in fact, do the optimal room reset, which is to spark to the right, so that you can charge up your speed to go through the floor again. So let's see how he does. He gets it. All right. So just a little bit of time lost there. Not a big deal. But he's very close to the end of the game. This was a pretty close race. I know both these runners are very good. And some mistakes were made, but overall, really solid playing from both players. And we will see Nick fighting Mecha Ridley very soon as he slowly crawls his way out, tinking as many missiles as he can. Let's see. Oh, look at that. The doubles. He is shooting 2 super missiles per jump, and he makes Mecha Ridley look like a joke. That is called very difficult. The timing on it's just way harder to get double missile shots with super missiles, but it's Nick's signature move, the double missile with the supers. And we'll see if Destructor wants to do an interview. I'm not sure. I think it's plus 7 hours midnight his time, so it's kind of late. We'll see. If we do, then we'll get to talk about this run. Nick is just escaping. He'll be through pretty soon. We'll see if he wants to do a interview. And yeah, Nick is he has the patented, double missile, double super missile mecha, very cool. And the escape spark, oh, he missed it. He's gonna have to do a different. He's just gonna have to store it and then go down. Ball. Oh yes, the ball spark backup. Very, very cool. That is actually the optimal strategy. I always forget about that. He's gonna get his ball spark out of there. All right. I will put the invite link for the interview real quick. There it is. Let's just watch Nick finish up. He finishes Black Pirates, gets in the ship. 1 hour, 15 minutes, 52 seconds. GG to noxiousnick. That was a pretty good run, pretty solid all around. These guys were both like 2 or 3 minutes above their PBs, but getting just a time under 120 is still, it takes practice, it takes skill to get times like these guys get with the consistency that they get. Still really, really great. I will see if they can do an interview. All right. And let's send Nick a link. All right. So GG to both players. Destructor. Can we call him the BG on this one? No, you guys did great. Don't sell yourself short just because it might not be, this one. No, you guys. Hey. Great. Go back to the Discord. How are you feeling? Both of you. It was a pretty good run.
Hey, is this thing on?
Yes, it is.
All right, you're in.
Hey.
Yeah, mistakes were made.
Yeah, but you did really well.
Yeah, I was shooting for 113 this time, and I overshot it by a little bit, but it was not that bad, I guess.
Right. You still, still better than, most people. So, yeah, I think it's totally fine. And Destructor. Yeah, this might. Oh, there he is. Hey.
Yeah,
so,
Nick was right. Mistakes were made.
Yeah, but you guys did so well.
I mean, yeah, it's just it's unfortunate.
Right. It wasn't as optimal as you would have liked, but still, I thought you put up a great show.
Yeah. I guess I can blame the fact that it was my third run of the day. So let's go this way. Let's say that I already got a 110 today, so this one was all my energy was wasted. There we go.
All right.
I'm just glad you didn't make me look that bad today.
Yeah, I try my best.
I wasn't that far behind until it took me about 8 tries to get Ice Clip.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, that's right. I don't know what was going, because there was definitely one try where you definitely got it and you just fell like normal.
Yeah, I clipped into the floor the first try, and then I couldn't line the bugs up, and I started to panic after the third try, so I just...
Right. There was one try, though, after that you did everything. It looked right. You laid the bomb. You were standing on the 2 enemies. They were frozen. And then you just did a normal fall. You didn't, warp to the floor.
I think the enemies were too far apart, or I was off to the side or something. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's a weird trick. No one probably... I'm sure Dragonfangs knows stuff, but
If
I
the
wouldn't
enemies
know.
were like a bit side to side, and you maybe like had one foot on one and the other
Right,
on
that
the
might have
other
been
one,
it.
you
I
maybe
don't
were
know,
not standing on both enemies at the same time, so it
but
could be what caused it.
right, it was just unfortunate.
Oh yeah, indeed.
But still, I mean, it's one mistake like that costs a bit of time, but you can play everything else so well. You shouldn't hold yourself to expecting to make up time after a small mistake.
Yeah, I think I
It causes
spent
a lot.
almost a minute getting Ice Clip, and I was about 2 minutes behind, so that's not that bad.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then Destructor, I noticed you went for the standing spark.
Yeah, I
You weren't
tried.
able to get
I
it.
never tried it. I was like, I don't know. Usually I'm pretty good at mashing a button, but this time I think you have to press A twice in 4 frames, so it's kind of hard. But
15%. Yeah, that's four.
yeah, I
That's
don't.
way too
I've never
fast.
really tried it. At this point, I was like, all right, I don't even care anymore this run. I'm definitely
Right.
not happy with this run, so I'm gonna go for
Might as
stupid
well.
stuff. Even
Right.
tried to
Right.
debate a few people with taking the lava pit super missile later.
Right. Yeah. I was so confused.
Yeah,
Um,
were you like, I hope you will not forget or something like that?
I missed it the first time, and I saw you going through, and then
Oh,
getting the super missile. And wait, when did he miss it?
no, it's it doesn't even matter if you pick it up early or not.
That's
So
what I was thinking. I thought, well, it doesn't, because you're fully powered up both times.
yeah, there's
Um,
no real difference between picking it up
definitely,
early
definitely threw me for a
or
loop.
later. Yeah, I just wanted to try and bait a
Right,
few people. Didn't really work then.
right. I'm sure someone else in chat might have
Maybe,
got
maybe.
confused. But yeah, overall, there were some small mistakes, but GG's overall. You both played really well
Yeah,
for
GG
like
Nick.
so much of the run.
Thanks, GG guys.
I mean,
All right.
I'm happy I landed the Black Pirates. That's probably the best thing I did in this
Yeah,
entire
your
run.
black cards were super fast.
Yeah, they are. That's an optimal setup. That's like the fastest way to do them.
All right, awesome. Well,
Oh yeah, and Nick, your mecha fight, just again.
with the double supers, yeah.
Yeah, they're all lined up. Like that's amazing. On the way up, you shoot one. On the way down, shoot another one. That's calculated.
Yeah, I always try to set him up so he raises his head as soon as he can, just to get that first one in.
Yep, that definitely worked.
All right, well, GG to both of you. Is there anything else?
Thank you for commentating, I guess.
Oh yeah, no problem. It was fun. It was a great
Yeah,
race to watch and commentate. Thank you guys for running.
No problems. That's what we're here for.
All right, so I have the speed gaming schedule pulled up. This run may be over, but you can check out Speed Gaming 2 for Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland. They have a run that's they're in the middle of right now. They just started, and then there's another one at 6:45 Eastern, and a MM2 randomizer. I would assume that is Mario Maker. No, I don't know what MM2 could be, but that is 8
I mean, yeah,
Eastern.
outside of Mega Man 2, I don't even know.
Mega Man 2, that is definitely it. I was thinking
Yeah.
Majora's Mask. There's too many MMs.
Majora's Mask 2, yeah. There we go.
I was like, there can't be.
Is that the Breath of the Wild sequel?
Yeah. On Speed Gaming 3, which is this channel, there's Luigi's Mansion, No Out of Bounds at 7 Eastern, and then Handheld Heroes Marathon on Speed Gaming 1, which they are currently in the middle of. So a lot of cool things you can check out coming up in the near future. So definitely be sure to head over there and give your support. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thanks everyone. Thanks Speed Gaming for having us, and I will see you guys next time.
Goodbye, everyone.
Thanks, guys.